Thinking now that there should be a scale adjustment here. Okay. And whatever is negative space, like over here, and over here, and over here, and these gaps here, that will be... I'm going to force that to stay negative space. I'm just going to stick a bunch of shit in there. It will be sort of treated as a sort of a dappled light forest canopy thing, but it's going to be so recessed into the background that it'll essentially be like I'm not drawing it. I certainly won't be using line art for it. So that version I get to punt. I get to punt that. Okay. Delete that layer. I think I can get rid of that now. Oh, hey. What's up, Luke? I had no idea. No idea I was being watched. And it's okay. If you're still busy, it's not a big deal. I appreciate you chiming in, though. I don't monitor for whatever reason. So, like, if anybody's actually watching, I can't tell. Which is good, because then I don't think about it, but then it's also like I wouldn't know, and that could be useful information. But I appreciate you popping in. This is making progress to where I'm finally getting a little bit less anxious about it, except for the fact it's going to be a hell of an image to finish, but it'll be a lot of things to sort of... I mean, there's so many characters here that it'd be difficult to count them. So, like, compared to, like, an image like this, which still has a lot of, like, little details going on in the background, but, like, this is just on, like, another level. I guess it's why you save it for last, but I'm really looking forward to basically getting this one a little rough shaded so I can go back to here and enjoy a... Yeah, I'm wondering because I've been toying with the idea of, like, putting, like, a small forest fire in the background or something. Just something to, like, even heighten up the drama even more. But I don't think that would come across well unless it was colored. And then coloring would be such a pain in the ass on this one, because it's the biggest, craziest one. Good morning, Mama Kryptonite. First time chat. You grace us with your presence. Thanks for popping in. I'm just dealing with dealing with having to get up super early in the morning because Oh, that's fun. Who is your sister? You don't have to disclose, but if you want to, you can say. All right, I gotta figure just a couple more things out on this. Lolly, all right, I love Lolly Wobbles. She's the best. She was very very encouraging and receptive at a time that my fragile, easily bruised ego would have been dissuaded had less patient people been early adopters of my stream. Anyway, I hope she's well. So one recent addition, as if I didn't have enough crazy things going on in this drawing, I added a bunch of little characters. I don't know why I can't select them here. Oh, it's because I locked them. These little extra people. I think it's funny if, like, there's like a bunch of little, like, baby moblins or whatever up here, like, watching the action. And this is like Big Mama Moblin hanging out, like getting annoyed just with all the ruckus. She is the best. So I'm going to quickly draw them up a little bit nicer. And then I might be basically done with all the inks. Although I want to thicken up this bridge a bit, so I'll do that too. But we'll see how far I get before my kids get up. You have a great morning. Thanks for popping in. Hype. Hype. I love it. Have a great day at work. I want to rig up some fun, like, sound effects or buttons that happen. I think people do this where, like, I don't know if it's a preset or a plugin, but like where it like plays a fun audio cue when new people chat or new people follow or something like that. Because I don't get a big indication otherwise until like after the stream. I think that would be fun. Some Big Mama Moblin cleavage. Other than earrings. I guess eyelashes, maybe? fun earring? I don't know. We know they wear little medallions. They have their adornments, so... Maybe some hanging pots and pans in the back. My wife is trying to set up. She's texting me right now, so I'm distracted. But my wife is texting me about texting me about setting up email addresses for our kids, and they're like, they're all taken. I'm like, okay, you know, maybe they are, maybe there's something else going on, so let's deal with it later. Let's deal with it when I can pay attention to it. So here we can see there's some range of emotions. We've got this one. This guy's excited. This guy's a little scared. And yeah, my wife is texting me that, like, it's been a quarter of a century. All the low-hanging fruit are of clever email addresses, or even normal ones are all taken. Okay. Those guys look good to me. And now, I'm just going to adjust this bridge, and then I'm going to call it. I'm going to call it done. And so what I'm doing here, which I feel is helpful, and actually I should really adjust some of this. I'm going to let him stand. So the Moblin guy, this big guy here, you can see that I drew him in a kind of different style, a different fidelity than what ended up being the rest of the sketch. And right now he's standing out. But later on, when I shade and I tweak it compositionally, I can help unify it to the rest of the space. One thing that's true, like for instance, these guys right here, is they're too clean. And they feel more still than this big guy. He's not as clean, and that helps lend a stronger sense of movement to him. Like he's moving faster. Like this guy is moving faster than like these guys. But these guys over here, there's too much, their lines are too clean. What I'll probably end up doing, and maybe I can do this by means of demonstration, just briefly. Let me save my work first. So I'll do both of these guys. Let's see if I can apply it to both guys. Oh, I can't. All right, well, try just this guy. Just a little motion blur. Oh, that's too much, obviously. Just gives a better sense of him. Making his way. And I'm not gonna just cheap out too much with the blur effect itself, but I'm just gonna keep it in mind as I move forward that it needs to feel a little bit more integrated with that handling. A lot of this stuff is still, it's like, hey, that needs to get treated. But it's just better to do that down the road as opposed to making it happen here in the line work. Delete some of that old stuff. And so with all these lines sort of stacked on top of each other without the fills, everything is kind of it's not a perfect analogy, but it's like when you just see wireframe 3D wireframes of a complex scene all layered on top of each other. It's just, you know, the information is there for the 3D artist. They understand it, but an audience doesn't. It needs to get organized and all that. But having the info there for me to move forward with, like with the decisions made, that's awesome. You know, I think I also want to put like a skull, like a decorative skull, like right there. Not huge, just something that feels like this is the chief's house. Okay, and this doesn't have to be anything crazy, but I want feel a little bit more like the bridge had some substance to it, so it feels like it feels bigger as it goes closer to camera. So over here, on the right side of the image, we have this bridge that gets very close to camera. I want to see something, not the equivalent, but something that feels like it hints to a similar effect. We see it getting smaller in the distance, but I want to see things that feel bigger over here. So like we don't see it, but the bridge continues off to the left-hand side. That definitely feels more like there's depth to the space. So it definitely was feeling a little bit flat on that side. Huh, that's interesting. I guess there was a whole bit of bridge over here that I didn't do enough with. more substance to the footing, I guess, of the bridge. Because these are looking a little bit sparse. All this is just adding more and more detail. But that's okay. If there's a good reason for it, then it's okay. Okay, well, now I need all these guys to be a little bigger too. fun putting all that to render. But it's interesting how much rendering ends up manifesting as sort of like mindless busy work, where it's not necessarily as hard as it might seem. We'll see. I may eat my words, but I have a feeling because of the control the digital process gives me, there's just a lot of room to be like, oh, let's try something out. Well, it didn't work out, but it's not the end of the world. You know, you make a mistake, you just undo it. It's not that big. Yeah, there's no commitment to go big or go home. You can go big and go home and get some sleep. Okay, so whereas this looks like this giant mess, like I promise that down the road it'll look organized and clear. All the atmospherics and craziness. The crazy complexity will be tamed by the control of contrast and atmospheric perspective and composition. So, as always. So, all right, what else? What else? Okay. I did also remember that I wanted to put at least one, like, old skeleton down on one of these spikes, so I'm going to do that now. And then I'll put a skull up here, and then I think I can just sort of call it a day. Well, not a day, because I want to come back as soon as I drop my kids off in school and start filling this in. So I'm freaking amped. I guess the question is what kind of... It doesn't have to be anything specific. I'll make it pretty generic. Just make it look like some poor guy got impaled. But like a long time ago. So it's just some hanging bones, essentially. Like not a complete skeleton, like parts that could rot away have rotted away. Maybe another one too. Even more depth, right? You know, and other things can happen too, like I can paint in like birds flying away. Ooh, yeah, if there was... Now I gotta do it. These don't have to be the final birds or whatever, but... It can feel like in the distance there's some birds that are flying away. Lend a sense of immediacy. Like the birds are like, what the fuck is going on? Let's get the hell out of here. And the fire could be somewhere behind Link. Just enough to see it and give a sense of that association. Maybe a little bit down here too. Just heightening all the danger. And maybe it's like even more stupidity because it's like there's a huge fire, everybody should just get the hell out of there, but they're running to attack. And I didn't really draw the back of this tree. This like platform, this tree plant, it's like a stump, I guess. It's a funky stump. But I like the shape of it, so I'm gonna keep it. Like theoretically it could continue up here, we'd see some of it. But I'm gonna force that into negative space. It could just be dust that's getting kicked up as they're tramping across the bridge, completely obscures anything else happening in the background from there. Okay, in lieu of drawing a skull up there, well, let's make a decision. I can draw a skull on the head of his staff, or I can draw a skull up there. I guess I could draw a skull up there. What, do I have to look that up? I don't need to look it. I can just draw it. It'll probably take me 2 days to fill in all this stuff. hard enough figuring out those geometries. But I feel like that gets it pretty close. That's cool. Okay, this won't make too much sense, but I'm going to, because it's also see-through, but I'm gonna do a quick check of the, just do a flop, see if I don't hate it. Oh, that's cool. It looks cool. I don't hate it. I love it. The one thing I might change is that with Link's shield being so at an angle where it's so thin to camera, I'm not sure it's reading as well that that's his shield. But yeah, I like this a lot. It's like so much fun stuff to look at. Well, that puts me in a good mood. Kind of was expecting a lot worse. And so yeah, I think if I can get slightly more legible, because someone who is already a fan of Zelda might recognize that that is probably his shield, but would that be the case for someone who wasn't as well versed? I can hear my kids waking up, so I'm gonna go in a minute. But this was great progress, and I think I'm happy happy enough with just how this shield is starting to read. Maybe not as big. Yeah, it depends on the shield. Different shield designs. This is not my art, but I'm going to pull it up. The shield design I've been going with is basically this one. The Link to the Past shield. Can't help it. I'm a little bit of a classicist. Okay. I feel like that's better. You can see the shield. We'll get some serious... There can be like some sparks flying. Badass. Looks like I didn't draw the back leg of this Moblin. Just quickly get that in now. I hear the TV on, my kids are up. Gonna do some dad stuff for a while. And very excited to come back and do something different with this. Start filling it in and getting that much closer to the rough shading. Super excited to cross those bridges, so to speak. All right, well, if anybody's listening, thanks for tuning in. I'm gonna come back in a couple of hours and keep going on this. I know it's super boring to work on the same image forever, but faster I get it done, faster I can move on to other things. If I get booked on a job, I won't be able to come back to it. So if you don't see me in a few hours, it's because I'm making some actual money, and that's a good thing too. Okay, I will see you next time. Thanks, everyone.